The suicide of a California pastor is bringing national attention to all the pressure on men and women in ministry. And joining me now to talk about this tragic situation and the realities facing pastors is Fernando Garzon, a clinical psychologist and professor with Regent University. Thanks a lot for joining us.
Glad to be here.
What are your thoughts as you hear about this pastor suicide? It occurs to me, I don't feel like I have heard about this before. Maybe it's social media, but it doesn't seem like it's something we hear about very often.
Well, suicide always is a shocking thing, and when we look up to people like our pastors, it's even more shocking because we tend to put them on a pedestal. And indeed, that's one of the things that's challenging for pastors, is that many times people put them on a pedestal and they won't allow them to really be themselves, which makes it more challenging for people in that position.
I would think so, absolutely. We want to respect them, and yet, you know, how do you view them as they're a human being, too? Let me ask you, we've seen a lot of reaction on Facebook and other social media, and we've also got some comments from the Lifeway CEO, Tom Rainer, who wrote about what he sees as our 5 main reasons for depression, and he talks about spiritual warfare, the surprising reality of pastoral leadership, a sense of inadequacy, critics, and bullies and loneliness. You know, do some of those resonate with you, especially in terms of the stresses that you see?
Yes. Pastors have a real challenge in the sense that pastors give so much to so many people, and many times the standards of behavior and conduct for pastors is so much higher that they feel isolated. Who does a pastor go to when a pastor wants to talk about different situations? Who does a pastor share his heart with? And so it is really the loneliness, the isolation that can happen in the ministry is something important for all churches to be aware of and all people to be aware of.
Right. And how do you think churches can come alongside pastors and just be aware of potential warning signs or, you know, a sense that the pastor's not doing well?
Yes. Okay. Well, there's several ways the church, I believe, can be helpful. One is to allow the pastor to have a set of people that the pastor can really unload his heart to and share his burdens with. The isolation in the ministry is one of the key things that would lead to depression just in general, and the pastoral position makes it even more difficult. So that's one thing that they can do. Another is just let the pastor know that you care for them, that you love them, that you appreciate them too, because pastors they're always giving, and they need that encouragement and that support.
Yeah, I know the hours even, and just always being on call. It's almost like a firefighter.
Yes, all the time working, a lot of, again, giving. And where does the pastor go to fill up? Where does the pastor go to receive? So churches need to find ways, giving pastors vacations, supporting their families, time with family, alone time. Pastors are always receiving calls in the middle of the night and different times. And so they need a space just to be themselves and to refresh and restore.
Yeah, well, good words, good thoughts in the midst of a really hard situation.
Yes, our hearts go out to the family.
Absolutely. Dr. Garzon, thanks for your time.
You're welcome.